Good morning. We're going to do a quick Flash tutorial. This is going to be for the first Flash assignment that we complete this year. And it's going to be 5 bouncing objects. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Adobe Flash. All right, and once that's open, I'm going to go to Create New, ActionScript 3.0. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to draw an object on my screen. You can draw any object you want, but I'm going to start simple. I'm going to go over to my toolbar. I'm going to go down to my rectangle tool, click, hold down, and select my oval tool. Once I've selected my oval tool, I'm going to choose a stroke color, in this case a bright green, and a fill color. In this case we'll call a bright pink. I can also change my stroke height, right, which is going to give me a thicker border line. So in this case, let's change the stroke height to 10. And I'm going to hold down Shift on my keyboard so I get a nice symmetrical circle. Once I'm happy with the object that I've drawn, I'm going to go back to my toolbar and I'm going to grab my selection tool. I'm going to come back to my screen, go down to the layer and click on the keyframe. That's going to highlight everything that I've drawn. I'm going to go to Modify, Convert to Symbol. I'm going to name my symbol. In this case, I'm going to call it pink ball. I'm going to hit OK. Now I've got my pink dot. If I want to make that dot smaller or bigger, I can go back to my toolbar, grab my free transform tool, okay, and then I've got the option to make it bigger or smaller. All right. Now that I'm happy with it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set it where I want it to start. And I'm going to decide how far apart my keyframes are going to go. Remember, the farther apart your keyframes, the slower your ball or object is going to move. Okay? So for this first one, I'm going to insert a keyframe at 10, right? And then I'm going to set the ball where I'd like it to go. Okay? I'm going to insert another keyframe at 20, and I'm going to set the ball where I'd like it to go. I'm going to continue doing that so it moves at a speed that's relatively the same throughout the entire animation. Okay? And I want to have my dot begin and end in the same place for this animation because that's going to allow when I play it, if I have it repeat, it'll look like it never ends. It'll just look like a continuous animation. So I hit enter and I'm able to see that my ball bounces all around. But the last thing I want to do is I want it to move smoothly between each of these points that I've set for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click between each keyframe and I'm going to say create classic tween. And I'm going to repeat that for each of these spaces between the keyframes. And once I'm done with that, I'll be able to play this and my ball will move back and forth, bouncing across the screen. You can also go to Control, Test Scene, and you'll see what it looks like in your video. Now I'm going to repeat that again. This time, instead of using like this the oval tool, I can choose a rectangle tool, a polystar tool, or I could use some of my other tools, for example, my line tool, to go ahead and draw something different. Okay? So I could use my line tool. I could set my stroke to 10 or make it smaller. I can also adjust it later. Okay? And maybe what I'll do now is I'll make a tree. So for my tree, I'm going to make sure that I'm on my second layer. I can even rename that layer tree. Okay? And then I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to very quickly draw a basic tree. It'll look like a bit like a Christmas tree or a redwood tree. And I'm somebody who really likes my objects symmetrical. So what I might do is I might grab my selection tool and copy what I've drawn here, paste it, use my free transform tool, flip it around, and then I can set it right here on the other side. Now, I almost got that right. I'm just going to stretch this line out this tiniest bit so that it looks nice and smooth at the top. There we go. Okay, so it actually turned out pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a fill color, right? So I'm going to go back, I'm going to go to my paint bucket this time. I'm going to grab a dark green, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill in the tree. If it doesn't work the first time, you can go down to the bottom right of your toolbar, and where it says gap size, say close large gaps. Okay, that's going to make the computer connect all of the lines to make sure that there's no like holes, and that would be a reason it wouldn't fill in. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw a trunk for my tree. I'm going to do that just with the line tool again, although I could easily have used the rectangle tool for this as well. There that is. And then I would guess that the trunk of a tree should be like a brown. I'll fill that in, and we're good to go. All right. So it doesn't matter what I've drawn. Okay, in this case I drew a tree. In that case I drew an oval. I'm going to go to the first keyframe on the layer. It'll highlight everything. And before I move it, I need to modify, convert to symbol. Okay, I'm going to name my symbol tree. Okay, I'm going to grab my free transform tool. I'm going to shrink that tree down to a size that I like, and I'm going to move it to where I'd like for it to start. Okay, for my tree, I guess I'll have it start right here in kind of the center of my screen. And this time I'm going to have my tree move a little bit slower. So I'm going to insert a keyframe for my tree at 20. And I'm going to have the tree move over here. I'm going to insert a keyframe at 40. I'm going to move it back. I'm going to insert a keyframe at 60. I always insert my keyframes first, and then I move the object. Okay? And then I'm just going to go ahead, just like I did before, and create the classic tween. So a lot of this is repetitive. Besides the actual drawing, a lot of this is repetitive. Okay, and now I'm able to preview what it looks like, and that looks pretty good. Here's something fun that you can do, a little something extra. Okay, you can click on the keyframes, and you can rotate your tree so that it looks like it's got like a little bit of movement to it. And this won't be much, right? I just rotating it like a quarter of a turn for each of the, I'm just rotating it a quarter of a turn, and that'll make it look like it's rotating as it's bouncing back and forth. So there's two of my objects. I've shown you how you can draw your own shape. I've shown you how you can just use the oval tool, right? Every time that you draw, you're able to change your stroke color, your fill color, your stroke height, right, to add a larger border. And you can also change your stroke style. And it's fun just to play around with all of these different ideas. Remember that for every single object that you draw, you need to insert a layer first, name your layer, okay, and then go over, grab the tool that you want to use, and begin the drawing process. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that and let you guys play, and hopefully this makes your life nice and easy. Thanks. Once you've completed your animation, you want to do a couple of things in order to make sure that you get full credit for this assignment. First of all, you should have a folder on your desktop, right, where you're going to save all of your multimedia assignments. This assignment should be called Bouncing Objects. Okay, and you need to make sure you save it as a Flash CS5 document in case you ever want to go back and use this assignment or use this any of the shapes or anything that you did again. So I'm going to hit save. Okay. Once I've saved it as a Flash document, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to export it. Okay. Now you're going to export it two different ways for me. The first way that you're going to export is the QuickTime movie. Okay. You can save this in the same multimedia folder as QuickTime. It's just important that you know how to read the files. This file will be uploaded to YouTube and posted on your blog. Okay, when this comes up, you can just go ahead and hit export. It'll take 1 second. And then you're going to go ahead and take that file to YouTube, upload it, and then embed it on your blog. For Schoology, you need to export it again, only this time, instead of a QuickTime movie, you're going to export it as an SWF movie. Okay? This is the file that you'll submit into Schoology. Again, I'm going to click Save. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to open up my multimedia folder. And I actually didn't save it in the correct one, but here, this is my SWF file. You can see it says SWF with a flash, the F for flash, on the file. Okay, that's the one that you're going to upload to Schoology. Okay, this one right here, this is a QuickTime movie. You can see it shows that item type QuickTime movie. This one is the one I'm going to upload to YouTube. Okay. So that should help you make sure that you get all of your assignments successfully submitted, and good luck.